Have you ever taken advice from somebody that you look back and you're like, holy shit, that was stupid advice? Or have you ever watched somebody take advice from somebody else where you're like, holy shit, that's terrible advice? Well, in the Pokemon community, there is no shortage of that, right? Everybody's giving their opinions of why they're right, while they have the best answers, and all of these pieces, right? Because there's no credibility check. And in this video, I want to talk about the credibility check of everything before you take advice from somebody. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sam with Loomis Card Craze, where I buy, sell Pokemon cards, sports cards, all sorts of trading cards. And we expanded recently into YouTube, where I share my thoughts and opinions. And again, credibility check side. I'm not the biggest seller, right? I've done roughly $32,000 in the last 2.5 years that I've been doing this in sales. And I also invest. I have about $50,000 to $60,000 in Pokemon, Disney Lorcana. I have some Magic sealed investments that sit in a closet. They sit in a storage unit. All of those fun pieces, right? So when I talk about credibility check, I just want to get real honest here with you guys. I'm in a Discord where I saw somebody give advice and I was like, that's really terrible advice, but maybe they know better because I haven't been in the space very long, right? So I did a deep dive. He had both his eBay store, TCG store, links in his Discord description. So I was just like, okay, let's try. I'm curious of his credibility check because I think he's dead wrong and I don't want to call him on it. So I did a deep dive into his accounts. He had 33 eBay sales at the time and 127 sales on TCG Player. So he'd done less than 200 sales, and based on the profiles, he's been around about a year. Very limited listings, all those fun things. So it's one of those where I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily want to cause a rift. I don't know the guy. He could be giving his best intention, best foot forward of, hey, here's what I do kind of thing. So I just chimed in and I said, hey, here's what I have done for my last 500 sales. It's worked. Here's screenshots. Here's X, Y, and Z that shows that it's working, and here's why I feel that it's working. Again, not encouraging this person to go my way. It's more of I enjoy spending time giving back to folks that haven't been in this space very long. I really enjoyed one Discord that I'm in where it's a lot of newcomies in this space where they're just trying to get their foot in the door. It's okay, their first sale. How do you list a card on eBay? How do you list something on TCG Player? How do you send a card off to be graded? Those are all things that I enjoy answering because I've been there. I've done that. And we were all new at one point, right? We were all like, how do you do this? Like grading cards. When I first went to grade cards 2 years ago now, I watched countless YouTube videos. I spent hours researching it just to get to the point where I went and printed off the PSA labels or the slips, and I sent my first submission in wrong. Thankfully, PSA had pity on me because they know when it's your first submission, right? So thankfully, I didn't get docked, or I think they're charging additional now if you use top loaders over sleeves, all those fun pieces, right? So I enjoy giving back to folks who don't necessarily have that opportunity to spend hours upon hours researching and watching videos, and sometimes it's just not the same, right? So that is one thing that you have to be sure before you take advice from anybody, myself included, right? There are much bigger fish out there than me. If I'm doing something wrong, from a sales perspective, YouTube perspective, I want to hear about it because I want to know. I want to grow, I want to learn, and I want to continue to expand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, right? So before you go and take advice from somebody, understand that 9 times out of 10, they're giving the advice because that's the advice that they believe. That's the information that they're going off of from their research, their information. 9 times out of 10, it's not malicious. It's not intended to crash and burn your store. It's not intended to make you struggle so they feel good about themselves. I genuinely believe a lot of times it's because they're misinformed and they don't know how to find new information and learn from the information. So if you can educate both parties without coming off as an asshole, usually it's very much appreciated. With me, just be an asshole. I'm used to it. That's what I enjoy, the realism of life, right? So as you're going through it, especially from a Pokemon investment standpoint, when people are telling you, put your money in this, do that, you want to make sure that they're also walking the walk. What you don't want is following a YouTuber or your friend or your grandma or whomever, right? That says, hey, you should buy this because I think it's going to do that. But I'm going to buy this over here instead because I don't necessarily have the money for that. That's not how this works, guys. If they believe in something, they're going to put their money in it. Just like I continue to release videos that tells you I have X, Y, and Z dollars in Mega Evolutions. I have ABC in Destined Rivals. I have 11 ETBs and Prismatic Evolutions. That's the only one I know off the top of my head. And I recently bought 2 cases of Ascended Heroes, right? Looking at how do I move some stuff around to get Perfect Order while it's at its cheapest price it's going to be. Again, I don't think Perfect Order is a great set to invest in, but I'm one of those where I like to have a little bit of everything, especially from a booster box standpoint. So now they're much better investments than Perfect Order, so please don't take what I said of, oh, he's going to put his money in that, I should too. No, there's much better investments out there. Just put a video out that said buy the dip in Prismatic Evolutions. I am doing the exact same. I bought 2 additional ETBs, which is why I knew my ETB count. Again, it doesn't have to be large positions and stuff, but you have to be able to trust that the information from the source you're getting the information from is valid, is doing those specific things. Another one that I love is I saw somebody on one of the Discords I'm in talk about how for eBay they don't do any promotions and all of that, but they should do promotions, and how everybody else should do promotions, but they don't want to spend the money for promotions. I don't understand that logic, right? Again, full disclosure, I promote everything on eBay. I have a dynamic up to 8% on all cards cheaper than $3, and $3 and above, I'm at 2%, or I think it's like 2.2, because a lot of YouTubers say 2.1, so I do 2.2. Yeah, we don't need to get into that in this video. But again, make sure you're following information from those that walk the walk. And again, there's always bigger fish. There's always a bigger fish than me. There's always a bigger fish than your favorite YouTuber, right? He could have $1 million in investments, and there's always going to be a bigger fish that has more than him. That's the beauty of what we do, especially with all the YouTube videos and all the Wall Street videos of large money coming into this space. It's really fun to watch and just see if I can make the same decisions, right? I'll never play the stock market I did when I was younger, and that was way too stressful for my ADHD self of, well, if I can buy here, I can sell here. Nope, that's just, sealed is perfect for me because I buy what I believe in. It sits in a closet and I don't have to figure out of, oh, this is the high, I'm going to sell it here. Nope, I make calculated decisions anytime I buy sealed. So for instance, if I was to buy 1 or 2 cases of Perfect Order, whatever it is, I think they're $12.50 right now. I would create a number that says when the case hits, I'm just, again, going off my brain, $2,700, I would flip the case. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? It's not a, oh, well, it could go to 4,000. Nope, once it hits this number, it's poof, it's gone. I'm one of those that I don't sit here and say, oh, maybe I should hold on to it because I think it's going to do this. I think it's going to do... Nope, I have set numbers for everything, Destined Rivals included. Although lately I've been like, yeah, maybe I'll get rid of that to get some inventory prior to it hitting my threshold, right? But once it hits the threshold, poof, out the door it goes. Because you have to know when to cut it and put it back into something else. Destined Rivals, great example. If it had been the $4,000, if the $4,000 had been my cutoff when Prismatic Evolutions was, let's just say, $1,200 for a case, it would have made sense. You sell 1 booster box, you get 1 booster box case, you get 4 ETB cases, you keep rinse and repeat, right? Again, you can't see my hand movements way down here, but I'm a very hand talker if you haven't noticed in the video. Anywho, again, I want to reiterate for the last time, make sure you're taking information from those that actually know what they're talking about And if you don't feel I know what I'm talking about, then don't take information from me. Don't take recommendations. You won't hurt my feelings, because you have to be able to trust the source of your information to know it's the right decision. Thanks for being here, guys. As always, we'll see you in the next video.